This here is a 1937 Fairbanks Morse 32E. It's 120 horsepower. It's a what they call a full diesel instead of a semi-diesel. The first versions of these were semi-diesel, which means they actually had to preheat it before they started it. But this is a full compression ignition engine, so it runs off compression alone. It doesn't have a glow plug system, so if you do have to start it with when it's cold, it actually has a bolt that unscrews out of the head. You put a wick in it, you light the wick, and you screw it back down on the head, and then you start it. Yeah, this one's a 1937. It was first put into service as a loaner engine, which Fairbanks Morse would either rent out or loan out. If you bought one of these and wanted to see how it worked, you could install this one, or if you had one go down and you were waiting for yours to go, you could rent this one till yours came up again, you know, in service with whatever problems you had. So in 1939, oil pipeline bought it and put it on a pumping station on a pipeline in West Virginia. It pumped crude and ran on crude. So this thing will run on nearly any kind of fuel oil. It'll run on jet fuel, kerosene, diesel fuel, JP, fuel oil, you know, you name it, crude oil, anything, waste oil, you throw it at it. If it's an oil, it'll burn it. So this one ran on crude on a pipeline, ran for 30 years before it was retired in '69. It didn't run 24/7 for 30 years, but pert near 24/7 for 30 years. When they would run it 24/7 until they were done pumping, and they would break the whole line down, or they could do one pump at a time. They did their heavy maintenance whenever they would pull the whole line down, but when they would pull one at a time down, if they needed some routine maintenance, they could just bring one down, run at a reduced rate, work on this one or another one, and just let it keep pumping. So after that, it bounced around a couple different junk piles, or I mean, long-term project storage. So it sat in a couple people's long-term project storage for a while, and then I bought it in 2015. It wasn't completely stuck, but it was a little bit crusty. Didn't want to turn over real easy, but got it going in 2015, and it's a pretty good runner. So to start it, there's compression releases on the top of the heads or on the side of the heads. So you unscrew those compression releases, you spin the flywheel till it is just past top dead center on number 1. You close your petcocks, and then the tank on the back is compressed air. You throw the lever forward, and it's got a cam in there, so it adds pressure while it's coming down. And before it's a 2-stroke, so once it gets past that exhaust port, it'll exhaust. So the valve shuts before it gets there. It goes in and comes on back up, and then once it gets just past top dead center, it puts more air to it, and it does it again. So it just keeps there pumping, pumping, pumping until it fires, or it doesn't fire, and then you start all over again.